Thanks, Mark, for having me.
Questions, please.
It seems like you bounced a lot throughout your life into
Yes.
different business ventures, from hospitality to selling consumer electronics to now owning a marketing agency. How do you navigate through all these experiences, and how what advice would you give a certain university student like me to be where you are right now?
When I was your age, I absolutely did not know what I want to do. But one thing I think I can come out from this is try. Always get your step foot in the door. Only by process of elimination, you will understand what you're truly good at. So I don't like to box myself in. I tend to get bored in a certain area. And once I stop learning in that box, I would want to jump up to another box. But the funny thing is, you might say that digital content right now, for me, an agency is completely opposite of what I do in the first place. But actually, I find it is actually somewhat related. I still work with client and I specialize in a lifestyle industry. I still work with, actually miraculously, I work with a lot of kids. Like right now I'm working with a kids clothing client. So I learned from that experience of doing consumer electronics with kids. I learned that experience and now I can apply that experience into my current venture. So it might seem very disconnected. I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm really gathering what I'm good at from each of the division and to cultivate into something that is now even more concentrated. So I really don't say people, if there's an opportunity that you want to jump ship to another field, so long as you can contribute to what you were asked to do, then what's the harm of it? And then the other class people, I have a guy ask me, do I get burned out? The funny thing is, you see, I jump from one. It's not because of all of a sudden I get up and I do not want to do it anymore. It's more like there are chances are some of the job they asked me to do, I clearly did not think I can do what they want me to do. So instead of wasting everybody's time, I don't want to wake up in the morning, do this, go and work. I call in sick and all that kind of stuff. Why don't I just, you do what you do best, I do what I will exit myself and I will somewhere along the way find something else that can use my service. So I think that's, yeah.
Was it an easy decision for you to decide to sell your business to take care of your child instead? Is it like you immediately know you should sell your business, or you struggle a bit to make that decision?
At that moment, it was a 5-year mark for me. So either I invest some more money into the business, or I invest my money into my child. And I was very surprised myself because I've always been very career focused. But when you have a very clear vision of having, a family, it's more important. It became a very easy switch for me. But everything, whatever choices that you make is an opportunity cost. Knowing what I know now, it still exists. If I would have keep this business and keep on doing it, my God, I'll be queen of catering in Denver or even in the US. I never know. I would never know, right? But I know I have a family and I'm happy with this decision and I'm content with it.
No, but you're talking about a lot about trying to find your passion and trying to find what you love and stuff like that. And I'm hooking on to the question that was before, with having you obviously bounce around a lot and trying different things. Do you think that have you accepted in some sense that you might not actually find one thing in your life that you're gonna be good at, or are your view of it that you actually find something in the end?
In this stage of my life, of course, I can go back into a catering business. Of course, I can continue my consumer electronic world. But I really now, whatever I value right now at this moment is having a work-life balance. So I choose to do something I might not make as much money, but I'm very content with the hours that I get to spend with my children and the hours that I get to spend with my client and learning. I did not know. I mean, seriously, I did not know I'm good at this. I had no idea 20 years ago. But in this moment, I'm very happy of doing what I am. And that's what I'm going to focus on doing. I also am a 5-year plan person. I always plan ahead. And knowing now, one of my goals is I want to travel more. But how am I going to build a business that can travel with me? So potentially this digital agency, I can have freelancer from, let's say I am going to Iceland in July, and I can get a freelancer, a team of people in July in Iceland, and I can shoot for my client. So I bring the work with me. So in this state of mind, this is important for me, right? In the early stage of my life, I just want to be a manager or a director or something like that. But I think when you get to your different stage of your life, you will want different things. And I don't see why you have to continue to be having one path. I still have my core competence, which is I'm very good at sales and marketing. I'm very good at marketing. That's exactly what I know. So until today, even though I'm producing videos, I produce videos that specifically tell a brand story. So I'm still not too far from what I was doing in the past when I was in the consumer electronics world, because I'm still selling and doing marketing work. So that focus of the expertise is still there, but it could be in a different medium.
You told that you don't mind actually advising the higher ups, but like you like to sit in the back seat and let them take the credit for all the consulting you do to provide them.
I mean, there are times that, yes, of course, you would want to get the credit of what you provide. And that's also what a good leader comes in. And for you to be a good leader, you need to appraise your people that you work with, appreciate your partner. And I work with good people, then therefore they will see value in me, and for me that's enough.
I have a question about communication.
Yeah.
Like when you communicate with your clients or partner, like you emphasize that we should listen and observe them and how they communicate themselves. But my question is, sometimes when I listen too much, I forget what my point is, and I forget to bring out my own ideas.
You know what? When you're sitting in a meeting, I don't know if it happened to you before. I could not come up with a solution. But I just want to act like I know what I'm doing and just say something out loud and just say something. And then when I was driving back from the meeting, I'm like, I should have said that. Why didn't I say it just out loud? So I also learned a trick. When you're in a meeting, when you're stuck with a certain things and you forgot what you want to say, you can just be silent. And it's like, you know what? That's a good point. I don't know. And you know what? The funny enough, client actually are very okay for you to don't know the solution at that moment. And I said, you know what? Let me think about it. Let me chew on it, and I'll come back to you. Chances are they're okay with it. So you don't have to be all impulsive and just, oh my God, you asked me a question, I have to give you an answer. No, I don't have to give you an answer right away. Let me think about it. I would much rather to have an educated solution than you give me a half-ass answer impulsively. So take time, think. It's okay to pause and really give them an educated answer.
I think your experiences are very inspiring, and you're trying all kinds of different things. I guess my question is that whenever you make a decision to change, there's obviously going to be a bit of instability and uncertainties. And I think that takes a lot of courage to make those decisions every time. So I guess what I'm asking is that what are the sources of your courage, and what gives you the power to make it?
My family. Yeah. So every time I talk it, if I pivot, and of course my parents are like, what are you doing now? What? You're doing this again, but I think that's why it's very important for you to surround yourself with good people, right? Chances are people who are sitting right next to you are the most genuine people you ever meet. When you get into the workforce, when you get to be a manager, when people are really trying to eat your lunch, they're not really going to give you very good advice. So find a mentor, find your people, surround yourself with good people to give you good advice. And talk it out loud. Sometimes I have ideas that is completely off the wall and everybody thinks I'm crazy. I have tons of those. But when you find something and everybody say, oh yeah, I think so, and talk it out loud and don't be alone and sit in your room and just think about it yourself. Always ask.
I really like that you have a lot of interest and you keep switching and keep challenging yourself, not staying in the comfort zone. So I actually have 2 questions. The first one is related to a focus time, because I'm actually suffering from a same situation. I have a lot of interest, and I think that it's important to focus on one thing at this moment, perhaps for 2 years, 3 years, or maybe, as what you've mentioned, 5 years. But how do you determine the length of the focus time, or when to switch the focus? And the second is related to like currently we are a student. If like from your perspective, what will you wish to have known at the age of like 21 if you look back?
Okay, first question is length of time to tough it out. Yeah, kind of when should I change if it doesn't work out? Maybe when you start losing interest, or when you're really having psychological effect that is not healthy anymore. That's when I tend to observe myself and see, is it worth my time? Yeah. I always look at time. I never really, as you can see, a lot of my projects are more passion projects than chasing the dollar. I'm sure if I stick with one of them, I'll make 10 times more money now. But is that gonna make me 10 times happier and more sustainable in the future? I probably would get burned out from traveling nonstop. And it did cost me, I have lots of opportunity costs, don't get me wrong. I'm divorced. I'm very lucky to find a new partner now. But through that process, I lost a lot of my family time. So I think in different stage of your life, you feel things are very important. Different kind of things are important, just like what you say, right? In this state of your life, you want career, you want to be on top, you want to be climbing the corporate ladder. But once you do that, you will realize in the next stage of the life, I want to have a family, I want to have children. And then actually actually I forgot to mention my children is really helps me to become a leader. Actually, I asked them, hey, mommy's going to talk about leadership. What should I say to these people? And they're like, Mom, you're my leader. I'm the leader of the family. Do you know how hard is it to try to convince your kids to do what you want? That's harder than any kind of other jobs that I have. And I'm still learning to this day. So there's no set books or anything. But I cannot quit my kids, right? So you kind of just have to pivot. If this doesn't work, let me try plan B. If this doesn't work, try plan C. So, but I'm passionate about my family. So that's why it never gets old. I always find next solution to how to solve their problem. What was the second question again? I forgot.
Like, if you look back at the age of 21, what would you wish to have known?
Wish I had known. Well, when I was in school, I could not wait to work. So as soon as I graduated, I got my first job. I went into the Hilton and I was working nonstop. What I would have suggested myself is actually to, like what I said before, is to sit and really travel or spend some time with yourself and to do things that makes you happy. I mean, not for a very long time. I still believe that, you shouldn't sit too long. And, but I would have traveled more to Europe or see different parts of the countries and just learn new things. I probably could have done something absolutely different as well today.
I'd like to ask, because you have mentioned about like passions or love a lot of times. So, but you also mentioned when you do the thing you hate, you grow a lot. So I would like to ask, like, how much we should push ourselves to like learn what I don't want to make myself grow,
or doing the stuff stick inside the corner?
I hate being an assistant at that time. I really hated it. But I still say it today, his name is Phil Valerio. I still remember the boss. Yeah. And I think that was such a great learning curve for me. And I staked it out. I stayed in that job for 1.5 years. And it was actually a mutual exchange that I decided I moved into a promotion. I became a catering manager at that time. And, but in the process of doing things that I hate, I also found things that I love as well. So, but it also makes me to become flexible and rounded. So I think you just need to try different things, even though I mean, like the other class I was saying, when I was in college, I never thought that I would be standing here to speak to you guys. I never thought that I would potentially, do a lecture, so to speak. And I was not a what do you call that? A speaker, so to speak. And but here I am today, doing something that I was not comfortable 20 years ago. But because I'm talking about something that I absolutely love, then I can talk to you for hours. I would love to stay here for the rest of the day. I have no problem with it. But if you're telling me to talk about something that is like completely off my element, I would not be able to do it. So I think you would know something that is absolutely wrong for you. You will not be able to be happy. You would not be able to last very long to begin with.
Actually, should we push ourselves to do what I don't like to do presentation, but should I push myself to do more in order to grow?
Yes, absolutely. You have to try. You have to try. And you know what? You're not good at presentation. It's okay. Pick a topic that you're interested in, right? You might not need to. In the presentation, I have a guy who is really good with numbers. So I say, hey, Kate, you do the presentation. You talk about all the Excel spreadsheet that we need to talk about. And then I will talk about all the marketing stuff. So even though he doesn't like to talk, at least he's talking about things that he's interested in. So pick a topic that you want to talk about to make you less uncomfortable. Talking about things that you're not good at is always uncomfortable. So don't try to do that. So that's why again, you have to think about what you're good at and talk about that. Then you'll be a good speaker.
My question is more on this slide.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of stigma around chasing what you dream or what you love, especially for jobs that are not as financially sustainable or situations where you're not that good at what you love. What do you think about?
So I have a very good example. So now I'm surrounded with a bunch of friends who is thinking about what their kids should go into college for. And she gave me a very good advice. And I'm like, oh yeah, my kids is very good in basketball. Well, everybody knows to become somebody like Kobe O'Brien is just next to impossible. But that's your passion, right? Why don't you use that passion, whatever, let's say you're very good at basketball. I can go into to do sports lawyer, or I could become an accountant for a sports team, right? I could also market for a basketball team, or I can become a coach. You don't have to be a basketball star, but you're still you're passionate, you enjoy that kind of topic. Then, applying your talent into what you're passionate about, isn't that a much better formulation? So you can still be a very good accountant and make money, but you're working for a sports team. So you can combine the two together and make a financial sense out of your whatever you like to do.
Right, everyone? Shall we make some noise for Yvonne Lowe?